The vehicle that broke the internet. That's right, for 2024, one of the most searched vehicles on the internet was the Toyota Tacoma when they debuted this all-new vehicle. Why? Well, it's really about the history, right? The fact that the Toyota Tacoma owns the mid-sized truck segment. So after nearly 2 decades and now in its 4th generation, they came out with an all-new redesign, and those that are Toyota enthusiasts or mid-sized truck enthusiasts wanted to really get their arms around this truck to see if it was going to be able to maintain that crown, right? That spot at the top. Well, we're going to break it down for you guys. Everything that you want to know about this brand new 4th generation Toyota Tacoma, we're going to dig in and give it all to you. So we'll start off with this, the actual code name for the Toyota Tacoma. They have 8 different trim levels, but there's one that they don't actually put on the side of the vehicle, and that is BAM, B-A-M, which stands for Badass Machine. And that nomenclature, that name, actually came out of their Michigan-based engineering facility. So I guess that's the first part where we'll talk about this all-new Toyota Tacoma, is the fact that a lot of the engineering and design elements came out of Michigan. Heart of America, home of the Ford F-150 and Ford Ranger, right? Chevy Colorado, GMC Canyon, all of the competitive segment are all within the state of Michigan. And so for Toyota, they wanted to set a pretty bold stance and a statement behind this all-new Tacoma. So the first thing, and the reason I'm standing at the front, is that they've taken design philosophy, design consideration from not just their production trucks, but also from their Baja-inspired off-road vehicles as well. So when you look at the front of this, the very first thing you're going to see is a much more bold front hood and grille alignment on this Toyota Tacoma. That arch comes down on that front 3/4 and then comes up nice and high, right here, bold, up over the front. Then you've got your grille that comes along the front, fully redesigned for the new model that carries all the way to the side. They're keeping that same monochromatic blue theme in all of their colors along the side of the vehicle. And then you've got your LED lights built in right here with a nice little plastic insert that if you stand back and look at this from the front, it almost looks like a bull breathing, looking right at you, staring you down. You've got those LED lights, as I said, a nice little Tacoma logo right here on the side, and then down below, you've got your front part of your bumper, and of course you're going to go blue, black, and it just gives it kind of a set out theme. You got your radar sensors and then your camera mounted here up on front. So let's start with under the hood, and this is the standard engine. It is a 2.4 liter, and check this out. It is a turbocharged engine with 278 horsepower with 317 pounds-feet of torque. Now, what's unique is that they will make available the iForce Max hybrid motor that's going to make 326 horsepower with 465 pounds-feet of torque. What's unique about that is that will make it the most powerful engine under the hood of a Toyota Tacoma to date. All right, so to close out things under the hood, a couple different things I wanted to point out. First off, they're marrying it up with an 8-speed automatic transmission, which I think is great. So all engine options will get the automatic transmission option. But my favorite is the fact that even with the Tacoma, a mid-sized truck, they're still going to offer a 6-speed manual gearbox. That is what makes this truck cool. You almost got to go throwback style and get the manual transmission if you're going to buy a Toyota Tacoma. And I will close it out with 2 different Easter eggs. This one right here, if you read it, 46.853.121.76, those are the coordinates to the top or peak of Mount Rainier. And it's rumored that they actually have the Tacoma Washington mountain range somewhere on the front windshield. This one doesn't have it, but that's what the rumor is. You'll have to go to one of your dealers to check and see if it does have that little Easter egg on there. Okay, so we're going to cover off on a couple different things on the side of the truck. We're going to talk design and we're going to talk trim levels. So let's just start with the overall design. You can see that this one is geared a little bit more for off-road. You're going to see it's lifted a little bit higher off the ground. And as you make your way down, they've got an all-new design theme. You're seeing off the back of this C-pillar right here, it's got this mild little design feature. I'm not going to call it a spoiler. I'm not going to call it anything aerodynamic. It's a truck. But it kind of gives it a little bit more of a movement forward performance look. You make your way down. Everything's still monochromatic, black logo. You got the black center pillar here between your on your B pillar. But everything still remains blue. And then down below, even though you don't see any step guards or any rail guards, this has been reinforced down here so that if you do bang it off-road, you're not going to dent dent it all that much. You'll definitely take paint off, but they're doing that to give you the maximum amount of ground clearance. As you make your way to the front, you got the BFG, and these are their trail terrain tires. These are all-terrain tires. They're great. They're perfect size for this vehicle as well. These are the 265 70s. So you're getting a 17-inch, and this is a TRD wheel pattern on here. I mentioned I was going to talk about trim levels. There are 8 different trim levels to the all-new Toyota Tacoma. What's really unique is that nothing is carryover from one trim to the next, meaning suspension. You're going to have 8 different suspension options for 8 different trim levels. If you want to go do some carving in the canyons or get out deep off-road with a TRD Pro, you're going to be able to do that and know that the suspension is there to support the type of driving you want to do. So we talked about the trim levels, and we talked about what changes were made by Toyota to really work at giving you the best on and off-road experience with your Tacoma. So let's point out things in a little bit more specific terms. So we'll start with brakes first. There's going to be standard brakes that are on, disc brakes that are on every version of, obviously, the Tacoma. But then as you step your grade up as well, when you get to the off-road grade or TRD grade, you're going to start to see bigger discs that are put in to support more stopping power when you're out off-roading. The shocks, there's a couple different options with shocks. So with this one, which is the off-road package, the TRD Off-Road, it's going to come with Bilstein shocks on the inside with coilovers. If you upgrade to the TRD Pro, now you're getting into more of that Fox Factory or Fox shocks with coilovers as well to really give you even more of a performance aspect when you're out there off-roading. So as you think about it, 8 different trim levels, that means 8 different customized suspension systems. So it's all integrated together, whether it's the front brakes and discs or the coilovers or the shocks. Each version is going to get a step up, giving you the ultimate experience and handling off-road. And before I fully jump off the suspension discussion, I know someone's going to drop in the comments or are going to ask the question, what kind of Fox shocks are on the TRD Pro? This is obviously the off-road, but the Pro version. Those are going to be Fox QS3, and these are internal bypass shocks with reservoirs. So when you really want to get it there, out there off-road, and when I was talking at the very beginning about carrying DNA over from their Baja Racing, history and heritage, that's what you're going to want, those QS3s, because they are really meant for taking off-road to another level, meaning more hardcore off-road driving. All right, so if there's one thing we definitely know about Tacoma owners, of course, they love to go off-road. We've just spent a whole bunch of time talking about the suspension. But what do they also love to do? They actually love to use their trucks for what they are intended for, and that is towing. So you have a maximum towing capacity on the SR5 iForce models of about 6,500 pounds, and that includes the TRD Pre-Runner and extra cab grades as well. So check before you buy, because there are 8 different trim levels, and we know 2 of them have that maximum capacity of about 6,500 pounds as noted. If you really want to get after it with your Toyota Tacoma, you can not only take it off-road, but you can also tow as well. All right, so you guys ready for this? I'm going to call it an Easter egg, and once you find it, you'll be like, yeah, kind of an Easter egg, but this is one of my absolute favorite features on this brand new Toyota Tacoma. So it's my favorite feature and also one of my biggest pet peeves. So with any pickup truck, they always integrate the liftgate switch right here on the inside. So if I wanted to lift this up, I got to come around under here, and that's a royal pain in the bottom, right? Well, not in the case of the Tacoma. On the side, you actually have a button that's integrated into both sides. I'll show you on both sides so you can see it. This button right here opens up the back liftgate. How freaking awesome is that? Down, up, out of the way, easy to use. This will be my advice for every automaker in the industry. Do that, please. We all want you to do that. All right, so how do you get creative? How do you reinvent the truck bed? Well, the all-new Tacoma, they've done just that. So let's just start with some numbers. So your payload capacity is going to be 1,710 pounds, and the overall size increases about 7%, and you have more width rail to rail. But it's what they've done on the inside, the ingenuity to just keep innovating, right? So the first thing I want to point out is actually right here within the wheel wells. This is meant for you to be able to take a 4x6 and run it across, or a 2x4 and run it across, cut it to spec, so that you can actually use this as a mounting point. Not only can you do it in the wheel well, but then over here you've got this groove so that you can run 2 pieces of wood flush across the back and actually create a secondary mounting system area. there are a bunch of anchor points on the inside, and they're all designed differently. So you've got an anchor point right here, you spin this one, and you're gonna be able to slide back and forth. You've got this one down here, you slide back and forth. And I think these are all great features. You've got an anchor point down in this corner down here. They're giving you that functionality that you need. And then what's great is you can take these anchor points off and you can actually put them on this guide rail here as well. So you really have this three-corner area or three-sided area where you can put these anchor points. Now, I want to talk down here for a minute. Storage, like tie downs and whatnot, you can take and put inside here. So you got all your tie downs that are gonna go inside of here. And then everyone's talking about power on the inside of trucks these days, and you're gonna get that with this Tacoma as well. This is a 120 volt outlet over here. You hit the accessory button on the inside of the truck, it's gonna give you that. You've got more tie downs along the back of this. And then over here, this is where all the magic is. You've got a 12 volt adapter right here. So as I like to say, I'm never gonna let it go. It's gonna be a cigarette adapter. And then you've got USB-C plug-in points here, so you can power your devices in the back of the vehicle. Here's what I love the most about this, is that we know with the Toyota Tacoma owners, we know they love to go off-road, right? So what are they gonna do when they get this truck? Lift kit on it, possibly. Bigger wheels and tires, maybe go as big as 33s on it. And then they're gonna put some kind of cover on the back, or even better, they're gonna put a tent system on the back. So let's say you're gonna go the overlanding route and you're gonna put a tent system on the back, a Tepu tent or whatever else, front runner, whatever else is in the market, you're gonna put that out. You wanna be able to get power inside. So let's say you're sleeping in your tent, it's right here, and you wanna be able to get power inside. You don't wanna leave your cab window open. You want to be able to get power. So you're going to plug into this bottom power outlet here. You're going to plug into this power outlet over here. You can hit your AC button up there, your ACC or accessory button up there, and that's going to give you the power that you need, you know, to provide light, power all of your stuff. Not to mention, throw all that out the door. If you just want to go tailgating at a Tennessee Titans football game or an Alabama football game, you're going to be able to do it on the back of this truck right here because you got power outlets right here on the back. That way you can grill and have a good time. All right, so I wanted to talk about this because in every video we try and talk about what we would do to personalize this truck to me, right? So the very first thing that I would do if I owned this Toyota Tacoma is I would actually take out, I love this rubber mat. This mat I'm gonna keep, but I would take this whole entire rubber mat out and I would get rid of the plastic truck bed. Honestly, for the amount that you're gonna pay on a TRD Pro or some of these higher end models, I don't want this plastic truck bed. I'm gonna get it rhino lined. To protect the truck bed, to give it a more aggressive look, to feel better on my hands. And it's great because they'll work around all this. They'll pop all these screws out and they'll work around it, and they'll put all your anchor points back in. It'll look exactly the same, but it'll just give your truck a much more hardier look. The plastic up front doesn't do it for me. And then I drop this awesome Tacoma floor mat right back down. Inside the Toyota Tacoma, there's a whole bunch to talk about, and we're gonna break it all down. So we're gonna start with the moonroof. I love old school. Man, who needs this to be electric? I don't want to pay more for it. Look at that, slide, back, forward, really cool. As we make our way down in the vehicle, what is the first thing you notice? It's going to be this massive 14-inch screen. It's the first thing I saw when I jumped inside this Tacoma, and it is absolutely the best feature of the Toyota Tacoma. Android Auto, I've got my Apple CarPlay hooked right up to this, and it's just big, it's in your face, and you know what? I want to be able to just touch and go, and I can do that with this vehicle right here. It is the coolest feature, having this right in the front of your vehicle. Nice, big, and bold. Then on this side, you've got a 7-inch and a 12.3-inch digital display cluster, a gauge cluster. You have two different options for it over here, which I think is really cool. And then we're going to make our way down the center stack. So as we make our way down, you've got your volume button. You've got both heated and cooling seats. So if you want to get cool, you're going to hit the cold button. If you want to stay hot, you're going to hit the hot button. Today it's super hot, so we're going to go there. You've got steering wheel heater as well. So you're going to hit the button over here, and that's going to turn on your steering wheel heater. And then love the old school buttons. These little switches are great, right? So you can switch the different types of air conditioning or heating modes on the inside of the vehicle. Just hit a little button, turn it on, turn it off. Get that air cranking in here as well. And then you make your way down into this center stack area in your center console. Wireless induction, right? So drop the phone in there. It's got a picture of my son Tyler. Starts charging immediately. You can see it right there. And then on this side is for your homies, your friends that are in the vehicle. So you can put a secondary phone over here and then charge it with these two USB-C connection spots. So my phone tends to stay over here. You make your way down, you've got the TRD branded shifter knob. And what's cool is, and I'm just gonna put it in drive, you actually put it in sport mode as well, which I really like. Put it back in park. And then as you come down, you've got your 4 low, your 4 high, your 2 high, and these are all different modes that you can switch in when you're in your drive mode. So I'll put it in neutral to do that and then slide in. So in park mode, you got to hit the button on the side, boom, put it in here, and it's going to drop it into those different driving modes. Then up top, you've got your actual driving buttons for the mode that you want to be in. So here you're just going to shift to the direction of what you want to be in. So you've got sport, normal, and eco for your drive modes, and they pop up on your screen up top. If you want to get dirty, you want to go rock crawling, boom, you're going to hit your rock crawl button. It's going to make you put the vehicle in 4 low, so you'd have to go into 4 low, it'd have to shift into 4 low, and then you're going to hit the button for the crawl. You can see the light illuminate, and that means the vehicle is now in 4 low and rock crawl mode, 4 high or 4 low. So a couple different things to point out down here that are important, and each one of these has a much different feature or purpose. So this is for your trailering. This is going to be when you want to back up and use the automatic guidance in the cameras to help back up to your trailer. Your next one is going to be your camera view. So you'll actually see up here on the screen, full camera view of your vehicle. I just love that. Isn't that cool? Gives you a full view of your vehicle, and you can play around with the buttons up here. It's going to go to the side, off the tire, off the top, off the tire. You got great little features over here. You can change the color if you want. Oh, I want to be blue. Ooh, I want to be white. Oh, that white looks good, doesn't it? So you can play around with those features just to customize it. Then you've got your locking rear differential. So you're going to go ahead and push that button right there. You'll have to be in 4-wheel drive to do it. 4-wheel drive up here, and then you can lock in your rear on this. So right now it's telling me it's going to lock in so that I can go into full 4-wheel drive mode. The last button is the coolest button, and that's this over here. This is to disconnect your sway bar up front. So if you want to do this up front, you're going to hit that button when you're in off-road mode, and it is going to disconnect your sway bar. Okay, something I don't normally talk about on the inside of these vehicles is storage, and I think it's worthy of this Tacoma because there are these cool little cuddy spots and storage areas. You got this storage area right here with your USB-C, your cigarette lighter, but producer Tracy pointed this one out from the passenger side. If you want to hang your groceries or a purse on this, it's a great little hook, giving you that flexibility and capability, if you will, to just kind of tuck stuff away. And then on the inside, you've got just a nice little storage area inside here. Cool little feature, nothing special about it, but it's functional with your 2 cup holders here. And then you've got 2 cup holders in each of the doors. So you could actually put 6 drinks up in the front cab of the vehicle, and you've got those 2 storage spots over there as well. And of course the TRD logo simply laid out. You're seeing little TRD logos all throughout the inside of the Tacoma. And I would normally jump in the second row for you to take a look, but I gotta be honest, I don't fit. I can't even get my knees in there. So we're not gonna jump in the back of the vehicle and give you that full breakdown because it's 6'2". I can't do it. So you're definitely, if you wanna make sure that you have room for adults, you're gonna wanna get that extra cab feature to give you the room you need. So behind the wheel of the Tacoma, a couple things to point out. Now, although the 4Runner and Tacoma share DNA and platforms, they're obviously not the same vehicles, and there are things on them that are obviously a little bit different. But I do want to point out a couple different things that are important to me, having owned a Toyota 4Runner. The closeness of you and your passengers is pretty cool. I have an F-150. Everyone sits, it's like a big old open couch, like it's much wider. But I love the closeness of what the Tacoma brings. Driving this is effortless, it drives straight as a dime. But I do want to talk a little bit about the powertrain. So I get it, everyone's working to meet certain CO2, restrictions. They're starting to become more electrified. They're integrating certain types of powertrains in. I'm not a big fan of the smaller engine platform on this. I really, really, really like having a bigger, more powerful engine. And I do think the V6 is something that I'd like to see Toyota offer at some point. Will they? I doubt it, because the industry is really moving away from that. You can feel, look, the truck's capable, but you can feel a little bit of the lag, if you will, with the smaller entry-level motor. Even though it's turbocharged in that 3rd, 4th gear, you're going to feel it. But for the most part, you can hear the motor working harder because the motor is smaller. All right, so before we close out the video on the Toyota Tacoma and start talking about pricing, there are a couple things that I just want to say. First off, I get it. I know why, and I get why the Toyota Tacoma is just such an awesome truck. It's got a narrow wheelbase. It can go anywhere off-road. It comes with so many different great features as far as capability. you know, 8 different suspension options for 8 different trim levels with a manual or automatic gearbox with the option for Bilstein or Fox Racing suspension really give the consumers the opportunity to fully customize it to the way that they want. And I think that's what's really unique, is that off the dealership lot, you're getting a truck that is 100% capable. This thing's gonna go anywhere you want it to go, and you're gonna do it in style, and you're gonna do it in fun. So the price, you're gonna be looking at a starting price around $31,500 on that SR model, and then of course you're gonna be able to trim level this thing all the way up to that Trail Hunter TRD Pro, you know, which is gonna push you in 40s, 50s, and create a slightly higher price point. But as you go higher, the grades and quality and craftsmanship will increase as well. I hope you all enjoyed this video on the 2024 Toyota Tacoma. Ours is the TRD Off-Road. If you enjoyed this video, drop your comments below. You know what? The Tacoma world is huge. Give us some of your comments. We'd love to know what you love and what you don't love about your vehicle. And if you're not following along on our other social pages, it's pretty easy, at It's Mike Caudill on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Hope you all have a great time driving the Toyota Tacoma or whatever vehicle it is you're driving. Thanks for checking out Chasing Horsepower.